Namaskar. I welcome you all in this lecture series organized by Ramanujan College, New Delhi. It's a privilege for me to be a part of this lecture series, and today we are going to discuss about the Ayurvedic concept of diet and nutrition. So before we begin our session, let's start with a simple prayer for harmony and peace. Just keeping our back straight, be aware of your senses. Just breathe in slow and deep, breathe out slow and deep. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah Sarve Santu Niramaya Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kaschit Dukh Bhag Bhavet. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Today we are going to discuss about the Ayurvedic concept of diet and nutrition. Though the topic seems to be very easy or very interesting as such, though it is very interesting of course, but it is not that easy to understand, because there is a different aspect of this Ayurvedic concept of diet as compared to modern system or Western system of diet and nutrition. Because Ayurveda places an important role on ahara, that is diet, and it also plays on how the food should be, that ahara and your food. So they give an importance to how it should nourish your body, mind and soul. So it's not something like that you are eating something if you have some deficiency and you are getting rid of things. Ayurveda has much deeper and much root level understanding of diet and nutrition and its all aspects. And before we understand this Ayurvedic perspective of diet and nutrition, it is important to know a bit of Western system of diet and nutrition. In a study in 1992, the US Agriculture Department has made a food pyramid by considering certain cardiovascular as well as cancer risk factors, and they have made a food pyramid in which they have prescribed a diet of carbohydrates, proteins. They have given a diet of 6 to 11 servings of food along with your pasta, vegetables, fruits and your meat in different forms. And they after many years, like after a few years of research, they have found that this food pyramid has been altered as the cases of obesity was rising in their country. So what they did, they again took the data and prepared another food pyramid chart by 2004, and they have issued another this food pyramid chart by including certain factors, like they were considering this time the triglycerides, they were considering about cholesterol ratio, as well as they have introduced more complex carbohydrates in their diet, and they introduce this new pyramid considering the cardiovascular as well as cancer risk factors at particular that time. So it shows that the understanding of diet and nutrition in their perspective is changing as the demographic changes, as the lifestyle as well as the people's dietary habits do change and disease condition do change. So it was varying according to that. But when we come to Ayurvedic perspective of diet and nutrition, And before we understand this, what Ayurvedic perspective of diet and nutrition is, it is equally important to understand what are the components of this topic, like diet, nutrition of Ayurveda perspective. Generally, people have this tendency of having an attitude of going to the doctors and saying, I have so and so disorder, please let me know what food I should have, what food I should not have. So, having this mindset or having this urgency in mind, they go to Ayurvedic physician and seek for some dietary modifications or prescriptions. It is not as it seems to be, because a physician has to consider many factors, and then only he or she can prescribe or recommend dietary changes. Now, coming to the Ayurvedic perspective of diet and nutrition, to understand this topic, it is equally important to understand what are the component associated with this whole dietary system. Like, if I talk about Tridoshas, if I talk about Panchamahabhutas, if I talk about Shadrasas, it will look a kind of unusual terms for you. So, first of all, it is important to know these basic terms and basic functions of these terminologies and how do they affect our body. So, we cannot do a parachute landing to the topic without knowing the area, without knowing the dimensions of the topic we are going to discuss. Now, when we are talking about this Ayurvedic perspective, it is something like having basic knowledge of what Tridosha is, what is your own nature, what is your own Prakriti is, and which location you are residing, and what kind of dietary habits or what kind of disease you have. So, considering these few factors, it is important to know, to have a conclusory or have a understanding of dietary aspect of Ayurveda. Now, the first component of this topic is Ayurveda. The word Ayurveda says Ayurveda, the science where the description of life of Ayu, it has been mentioned, is Ayurveda. In that, and if we go for definition of Ayurveda, it says hita hitam sukham dukkham ayutasya hita hitam manam chatach yat roktam Ayurveda sa uchyate. It means where the parameters of hitayu, ahitayu, sukhayu, dukhayu are, where the parameters of these has been mentioned in elaborative or have been explained, is called Ayurveda. Now, what is hitayu, ahitayu, sukhayu, dukhayu? These are basically things of your personal and social life. What are the food, what are the dietary habits, what are the routine, what are the activities, everything is included in this. So, it says all the parameters of good and bad, or all the parameters of what is good for you or what is bad for you has been mentioned elaborately in this science of Ayurveda. Now, when we talk about Ayurveda, the purpose of Ayurveda, what is the aim and objective of Ayurveda? It says swasthasya swastha rakshanam aturasya vikar parshmanam. Those who are healthy, swastha, those who are healthy should maintain their health, and those who are diseased, atur, those are diseased or those who have any kind of disorders, and those who are seeking any treatment or medications, how to get back to their normalcy or balanced life is the purpose of Ayurveda. So, one is to maintain the health of a healthy person, and second, to bring back health of a diseased person. That is the objective of Ayurveda. Now, in this, the first word was swastha, because everything, whatever activities we do, we always do considering being healthy. Nobody in this world is looking or desiring to be sick. Nobody is willingly says I want to get sick, or I want to get this particular disorder, this looks very nice or interesting as such. So, the purpose of Ayurveda is to maintain the health of a healthy person. Everybody, we all of us are working to have a health. If you are earning also, if you are doing any activities, we don't wish to get sick, but circumstances take us to such disease condition, of course. So, to maintain health of the healthy person, and second, to bring back the health of the diseased person into the normal state. In the swasth, the word swastha here in this says swastha means to be in the state of own natural state, on form, like being, like I am myself, swa, as tha, like to be in calm, in my own natural and all balanced state, because we are basically healthy with by body and mind when we are born. But gradually, with our activities, with our diet, with our locations, with our routine, we get such kind of disease too. So, to come back to the normalcy or to the state of one self or pure self is basically swastha. And when we talk about swastha, there are two definitions also have been mentioned. One definition by World Health Organization, WHO, it says physical, mental and social well-being of a person, not merely absence of disease or infirmity. It says there should be balance of physical, mental and social well-being of a person. It is not that if the person does not have any disease or so he can be called as healthy. No, it has to be balanced at these three parameters: physical, mental and social well-being. Now, when we talk about Ayurvedic perspective, it has different dimensions, it has different much deeper dimensions have been mentioned in Ayurveda. It says samadosha, samagnisha, samadhatu, malakriya, prasannatmendriya mana swastitya vidhiyate. It says the health is a person who has samadosh, means the balance of three doshas, samadosha, samagni, balance of digestive fire, samadhatu, balance of body tissues, 7 body tissues, malakriya means excretion of body waste or toxins from the body, prasanna atmendriya mana means the well-being or the happiness of or the sense of well-being at sense organs, prasanna atma, your soul, and mana. So, as these parameters get fulfilled, the person is called swastha or healthy. Now, as we compare the definition of WHO and if we compare the definition of World Health Organization, we see a great variations or great components have been mentioned in Ayurveda, because Ayurveda is just not mentioning about three aspects, it is mentioning about apart from physical, mental and social, is mentioning about your senses, is mentioning about your soul level. So, having this deeper knowledge or explanation of health, Ayurveda basically gives us a chance to elaborate or understand health in more holistic as well as more multi-dimensional approach in as it is, because in present time we are basically just focusing on being healthy at physical level. We are not thinking about being healthy at mental level or social level or at spiritual level. And sometimes in and having a state of health at physical level, we are stressing so much that we take stress, anxiety as such. So, having a knowledge of health is important than running for health, because suppose example, if you want to go to Taj Mahal, so you cannot just go and have a parachute landing at the Taj Mahal, you must know the way to go to the Taj Mahal. So, there are different roads, there are different areas you will be crossing, and then you will reaching your destination. So, reaching destination is of course a goal, but having a knowledge of path and being aware of the path is equally important in Ayurveda, because it gives you a peaceful stage of attaining health as it is. Now, as we are going to discuss this Ayurvedic concept of diet and nutrition, the concept we will elaborate this in next session, after having this basic knowledge of what health is. So, in next session we are going to discuss about what are the components of food, what are the components of other parameters of having a good food or balanced food as such. Thank you.